Are you worried your family history research might be lost to future generations? Is it currently sitting on your computer or hard drive? Maybe it's in file folders that no one wants. We are Lynn and Danette. We're cousins. We're family historians. We're a writer and an artist. And we've joined forces to create Heirloom, pre-made templates that take all the work out of building your family history book. We help fulfill your family history book dreams. Join us every Tuesday for conversations and questions with Lynn and Danette, helping you build your legacy for future generations. Our pages, your story. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Conversations and Questions with Lynn and Danette. Good morning, Danette.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Oh, just fine. A little crazy morning, but
I heard the smoke detector just went off, so I know it's not great over there.
It was one of those days, but it's all quiet now.
Knock on wood. All right. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're just going to talk about actually what kind of content we can put into our book. We've talked about the pictures and the documents and all those great, pedigree charts and timelines and all that wonderful stuff. But I really want to get into the text and what kind of text specifically we can add to our book. So first and foremost, I'm going to talk about stories. And I think it's important that we try and create stories that take a reader along on a journey. So we want to look for something in our ancestors' life that they achieved, whether that's immigration or owning their own business or buying land for the first time, and creating a story around that and showing those obstacles and struggles that they had to overcome in order to get to that point in their life. And like I said, these achievements, they can be things very tangible like land or immigration, but they also can be intangible. So freedom or love or fame. And generally in most stories, we're going to find both. They're going to be an inner goal and an outer goal, and they're generally tied to each other in some way. So, for our ancestor who was seeking immigration, that, is something very tangible, but for him that meant freedom. So it's a two-sided coin. So you want to try and find something like that in your ancestors' history that you can wrap a story around.
And makes the story more interesting.
Oh, absolutely. And then that is where people will read it rather than just throwing your facts into a paragraph. And so if you want to learn more about how to write stories, then, jump over to the Family History Writing Studio and see what I've got going on over there. But aside from the stories, there's also profiles. So you want to talk a little bit about that today, Danette?
Well, they're good for the family members that you maybe don't have that much information on to make a whole big story. And then you just want to put hopefully you have a picture and the bare bone facts, when they were born, when they arrived in whatever country they arrived in, when they died, did they get married, just the bare bone facts of their life. As if you were doing a profile or a portrait about that person.
Right. It's sort of like a little short biography type thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But we'll go into more depth next week on that subject. But that's just one more thing to use when you're writing your book.
Yeah, there's a variety of different types of profiles that we can write, and we've also done some templates, so we're going to go big into that next week, which will be great.
Right. I think another thing that's good to also use are quotes. Whether it be a quote that a famous person said that relates to what you're talking about in your story or the person, or it could be a quote from another family member. When we did our book, we asked all the grandchildren what they remembered most about their grandparents or great-grandparents. And you get some interesting quotes, you get some cute quotes, and you get some very meaningful quotes.
Yes.
That kind of thing also, I think, brings your book or the people in your book more to life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because that's what you're trying to do, is make them real people.
Absolutely. Yeah. The more emotion you can bring
Exactly.
to the page, the more engaged your reader is going to be. You can also pull some quotes from like letters or diaries.
Oh, sure.
So if your ancestor left, a letter or a diary, and there's something, sometimes, you don't need everything that's in the letter or diary. Sometimes they're just talking about their day and it's not really very, meaningful, but, to pull a little excerpt from it.
Sometimes there's that key thing they say that makes a difference, especially if it's a letter written by someone who's in the war.
Absolutely.
Or the wife to the husband in the war, or sometimes you find something interesting in a will.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, will can shed a light on a lot of things, particularly relationships, because some people get things and some people don't. And that can really tell us a lot.
Sure.
If you have a lot of letters, or if you have a really interesting diary, you can create a book around a collection of letters as well, or you can actually, create a whole book around a diary. You could even build a story off of the diary.
Right. I did one that was just the love letters of the grandparents back and forth through a particular war.
Nice. Really nice. That's a great idea. Yeah. Other types of text that we can add are text that might go along with the document. So if we put a document in our case, we had some documents that we got from Poland, and these were birth certificates and marriage licenses, all done through the church, but they're all in a completely different language. So for us, we had to make sure we added the transcription alongside that. So you might want to think about that if your documents are in a different language, or if they're hard to read as well. Sometimes it's not necessary, I think, to fill a whole page with a document if you can't read the document. It just isn't. You're just taking up valuable real estate in your book. It would be better off just to put the transcription in instead.
Yeah, I like to use a small photo of the document because they're often interesting to look at. But if you can't read it, then you need a transcription.
Yeah, don't give it too much real estate if you can't read it. Right. And then what about pictures? So what kind of text can we add to go alongside our pictures?
Well, to caption your pictures, of course, or to explain what the picture's about. Maybe it's the old homestead and you want to talk a little bit about that, the farm or the mansion, whatever your relative may have had.
Where is it?
Activity that was important to them, farming or whatever. Yeah, a little story to go with the picture. Even if it's just a couple of lines underneath the picture, it explains, because you don't want all your pictures to just be portraits.
Right. And I think dates are important because, when was this picture taken? The common layperson doesn't know whether that's, 1790 or 1850, so I think it's important to, if you can put a date to it. Sometimes you can do that by just looking at the style of dress and that sort of thing and narrow down a date for your picture.
Sure. Even if you just go circa 1850,
right.
It puts it in a time frame. And of course you name the people in the picture, but a little description, like I said, goes a long way, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think just, it's really important. Sometimes we forget that we throw the picture in and maybe we name the people, but we don't do much beyond that. And so
you need to put the picture in some context.
Absolutely. Yeah. So those are some ideas for you of what kind of text you can add into your book alongside those pictures and documents. So hopefully that gives you some ideas. And that's it for next week. Next week, like I said, we're going to talk about profiles. So we're going to go in depth and really talk in more about what kind of profiles there are, because there are a variety of profiles. We're going to show you some templates, some new templates we've got coming out for those. So make sure you join us next week for that. So until next week, make sure you subscribe so you get notification. Give us some love on this video. And we'll see you back here next week for conversations and questions with Lynn and Danette.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.